Hey, what's up guys? Everything Apple Pro here. Every remaining detail regarding the iPhone 12 lineup has been leaked by John Prosser. We now know the actual naming, storage, pricing, the differences between all the models, concrete differences, 5G capabilities between the models. Yes, they will be neutered on the cheaper end. We got details regarding that 120 Hertz display, which is going 10-bit, AirPods Studio details, 14-inch MacBook Pro, and more. It's been a wild year of leaks. This is one of the worst. Of course, John Prosser did predict with coronavirus and all, it would be getting worse, and it has. Anyways, we have 13 days until we're shipping the phone-able cases. Could not be more excited about that. Remember, we are doing a giveaway for 411 Pros to celebrate that. Instructions down below. All right, let's get into that. And I want to start with iOS 13.5. So we've seen 4 betas, and now it looks like Apple will be releasing 13.5 on Tuesday of this coming week. This was spotted by a Twitter user. The Guardian is reporting that Apple is looking to release its contact tracing feature on this coming Tuesday. I'm really excited for that, as Apple has left multiple bugs exposed in 13.4.1. Okay, so John Prosser, this mad lad, has spilled every detail regarding the iPhone 12. And I wanted to start the hype train here with his comment that Apple will be mopping up the floor with Samsung with their new iPhone 12 lineup. I do agree, based on the specs, what we're looking at, the pricing especially, that's a very real possibility. So Prosser has given us details regarding how all the models will differ in prices, storage, display specs, cameras, a lot of stuff we knew, but there's a lot new here. So first off, the naming. The 5.4-inch model will be called the iPhone 12, just the iPhone 12. And some confusion I wanted to clear up. In my last video, I saw a comment regarding the 5.4-inch sizing, people saying it doesn't look as small as it should be, and that's because some of the footage that we were using was from earlier and the models haven't been adjusted back then. It is quite a small model. It's going to be one of the most popular just based on size here. Now, Prosser says this model will have a Super Retina organic LED display made by BOE, a Chinese company. This is partly why the pricing will be so low at $649, starting at 128 gigabytes, and then a second option going to 256 for $749. No 512 option, much like the iPhone 11 does not have one either right now. This device will have 4 gigabytes of RAM, an aluminum body, so I'm pretty sure it'll be textured like the iPhone SE models, iPhone 11 models. It will still be capable of 5G and dual cameras. And a step up from that, we're looking at the iPhone 12 Max. Previously, Max Weinbach and I, we speculated it would be called the iPhone 12 Plus, but Max makes so much more sense in the context that the 12 Pro Max will also have a Max moniker, so this is more even in the lineup there. Also looking at a Super Retina display, organic LED made by BOE, a Chinese company, 4 gigabytes of RAM, a dual lens camera, aluminum body, so pretty much the same device, just slightly larger here. Price tag will be $100 more for the 128 gigabyte base configuration. Stepping up to 256 will boost the price by $100 to $849. Now, another way that Apple will be saving money on these two base model devices is the fact that they will not be millimeter wave compatible. So like some of the rumors predicted, there will actually be a difference between the entry-level models and then the Pro models, and that'll be 5G capability. Technically, these still will be capable of 5G, but it's the sub 6 gigahertz variant, which is only capable of speeds from 150 to 300 megabit download speed, whereas millimeter wave can get up to 1 gigabit plus on the Pro models. One of the biggest reasons that 5G phones are so expensive is because of the antenna module. A ridiculous amount of R&D has to go into that. Then of course the dedicated modem, which is coming from Qualcomm. So Apple's licensing that. It's not cheap. And that's why the 12 Pro models, being as cheap as they are, is so surprising. By cheap, obviously not cheap, but they didn't get much more expensive than the outgoing models. In fact, they remain the same price. So moving on, the next device is the iPhone 12 Pro. This is the 6.1-inch model. He's saying it'll have a Super Retina XDR display, which is the current naming of the iPhone 11 Pro display. This display will be made by Samsung, which is good. Samsung has a fantastic track record in making the best displays here, and it'll feature a 10-bit color depth. Up until this fall, every iPhone will have had an 8-bit display, so this is a huge jump in color depth and accuracy. 10-bit on an iPhone, amazing. We're looking at 6 gigabytes of RAM on this device and the Pro Max. The base storage on these devices will also now begin at 128 gigabytes, starting at $999. Moving up to 256 gigabytes will take you to $1,099, and then if you want 512 to $1,299. So that carries a $200 premium. These Pro models will have a stainless steel body, the Apple A14 chip, and then of course the triple camera setup with the LiDAR sensor. And of course these Pro models will be capable of sub 6 gigahertz and and millimeter wave 5G technology. So the whispers we've heard of Apple splitting up the 5G capability between the iPhone lineup this year, it's true, and it's unclear if Apple will bring millimeter wave to the cheaper models next year, but this year, not happening. Those specs remain true for the Pro Max device, although the price tag gets $100 more expensive for all of the storage options. Otherwise, you're getting a larger display, and we've heard about this device being more exclusive with an in-screen Touch ID. It's not looking likely. Prosser mentions nothing about this, probably happening next year. But he does go into detail on 120 Hz. ProMotion 120 Hz displays, yes, they're happening on the Pro models, with a caveat. Only if Apple can get them perfect. According to Weinbach, Apple will not be adding this feature if they're not able to fully optimize it, get it working. Main concern being battery life, second being color calibration. As these are becoming more advanced displays with 10-bit color technology, Apple wants to make this perfect, otherwise it's not happening. And there's a very small window for this finalization to happen. In early June, the designs are being finalized, so if Apple can figure it out, we're getting ProMotion. Now there's another issue here. A display analyst on Twitter has voiced concerns saying that there will not be an LTPO display on an iPhone this year. That's the technology that makes the always-on display from the Apple Watch possible, and it's not coming to the iPhone until 2021. So if Apple were to add ProMotion to the iPhone, how would they do it? Max Weinbach says essentially it would switch from 60 to 120 Hz refresh rate mode. So it wouldn't be completely variable. It couldn't go from 1 to let's say 120. It would only switch between two modes. So how Apple could blend that into a seamless experience, it's up to them, but it's very possible for that tech to happen. I mean, even the S20 lineup doesn't have that technology. Obviously the battery life suffers as a result, not having LTPO, but it's still possible. Also would like to remind you that HMSEC, the Hyundai analyst group, also predicted that an LTPO display would be happening on 2021 iPhones. This tech will allow for an always-on display on the iPhone, which is something I'm really looking forward to, but it's not necessarily exclusive to having 120 Hz. The iPad Pro has a 120 Hz display and doesn't have this tech. In news regarding the upcoming version of AirPods, likely AirPods 3, Nikkei Asian Review has reported that Apple will be delaying that due to the outbreak, and likely we're going to be seeing that in early 2021. Same thing that Kuo has reported earlier, AirPods unlikely to be refreshed this year, but we are likely to see an AirPods X refresh, which would be the sport-oriented version of AirPods. These likely wouldn't be AirPods 3 or AirPods Pro 2, but a separate line altogether. And another exclusive report by John Prosser regarding Apple's over-ear headphones, which are coming later this year. He's saying they'll be called the AirPods Studio. So Apple will be continuing the AirPods name. To Apple, he says pods just means music, so it's perfectly reasonable. People are familiar with the AirPods brand. AirPods Studio is what these will be called. $349. And 9to5Mac has released an exclusive report detailing some of the features coming to these headphones. They'll have neck detection. So when you pull the headphones off of your ears and wrap them around your neck, they'll pause the music temporarily, but they won't turn off the headphones. Much like when you pull out an AirPod, it doesn't turn them off, it simply pauses them. So they'll be smart, they'll be aware. And like the earlier patents predicted, AirPods Studio will know which ear you place them on. They'll have automatic ear detection sensors. So there's no correct way to put these on, just put them on and go. These will also have active noise cancellation and transparency mode, much like the AirPods Pro. So Apple is consolidating all of its best speaker technology into these headphones. And AirPods Studio will also have a professional mode aimed for Macs, where you'll be able to change the equalizer settings from low, medium, and high frequency with various adjustments. And in a separate report, Prosser also mentions that the Apple TV 4K refresh we've been hearing about, it'll be gaining the Apple A12X processor. That's wild. That's powerful. Looks like Apple wants to make this a more capable gaming device. It'll come in 64 and 128 gigabyte storage options. And Twitter leaker Love to Dream, which has had a fairly accurate track record, is now predicting that the MacBook Pro 14-inch is coming, likely in early 2021. It's been pushed back slightly. The refresh we just saw in the 13-inch model, it's likely the last update to the 13-inch model before Apple switches over to 14 inches. And Ming Chi Kuo mentions that Mini LED, a technology that was supposed to come to 6 devices this year, has been pushed back slightly. So we'll be seeing a staggered launch late this year and early next year across several devices. namely one of them being the 14.1-inch MacBook Pro. Google believes that this device is happening and it will have a mini LED display, and then the 16-inch MacBook Pro is mentioned in his report, although unclear if that will be getting a mini LED display as well. Previously, we heard it would. And a really cool patent that might make its way over to a Mac soon. Apple has patented a trackpad that would work with Apple Pencil and would have wireless charging built in. Super cool dual functionality. And a few exclusives from Max Weinbach. One, macOS may be called macOS Redwood this year or be named after a pile of rocks. And iOS 14 is getting a standard color picker API. PencilKit is also getting a tune-up on how it draws annotations, so using the lasso should be a lot cleaner. All right, guys, that's it. That's the latest details. We now know almost everything there is to know about this year's iPhone lineup. Still excited though. Thanks for watching. Remember, we are doing a giveaway. Details on that down below. Have a great one.